Okay, so we're going to compare the Anycubic Photon build plate dimensions to the Epax X1 build plate dimensions. So let's take a look at this. Start off with the Anycubic Photon. So the width of the plate is 135 millimeters. And then the Epax X1 width is 132 millimeters. Anycubic Photon depth is 80 millimeters approximately. And the Epax X1 depth is about 83 millimeters, which is interesting because the Epax X1 vat is also narrower in that dimension. So the Epax X1 vat is closer. Therefore, the photon vat is like a guaranteed fit in the Epax X1. And this is not really significant, but we can just look at this measurement too here of the overall height of that pyramid shape of the platform is 14 millimeters for the photon and about 15 millimeters for the Epax X1. One very important difference between these two build plates is the way that they are calibrated to the bottom of the vat. So the Anycubic uses a ball mount, which has a set screw in here that is loosened, and then the ball allows it to move freely, rotate freely, but it doesn't allow the Z to float, really, because as soon as you tighten this back down, the Z is set in the same position all the time. It only allows rotation here. So I find this a lot more difficult to set up in terms of the Z height and the calibration level and maintaining that. You really have to crank down the screw if you want it to stay. So the Epax X1 is a bit different in terms of it floats, the mount floats in Z, and then it allows for some rotation like this, and it allows for some rotation like this. So this one is a lot easier to calibrate. You just drop the Z down to the home position, and it's floating in every direction, and then you just tighten down the screws, and then the Z height is set. So, and then it's a lot more difficult to mess it up too afterwards because these screws really hold well. So you take this off the platform, you scrape and stuff, and you're not going to mess this up here. Therefore, I find the design of the Epax X1 build plate, although less beautiful than this, and this looks more simple, this looks more industrial. It's a lot more functional, it's a lot easier to use, a lot easier to set up, it holds its position. I prefer this type of adjustment. There are kits available that will convert your Anycubic Photon build plate into this type of build plate. And you can even 3D print an adapter that will allow you to have like 4 screws and 4 adjustments.